All right, for this strategic briefing, we're going to do a deep dive into one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic sectors, Vietnam's textile and apparel industry. We're going to analyze its dominance in the market, really uncover its core growth drivers, and then map out the transformative trends that are shaping its future. So let's just start with the headline numbers, shall we? $44 billion. That was the value of Vietnam's textile and apparel exports in 2024. Now, this isn't just a big number. It's a real statement of global significance. We're talking about over 11% of the country's entire export value. So here's how we're going to break it down today. First, we'll look at Vietnam's market dominance. Then we'll unpack the key drivers behind that growth. After that, we'll map out the industry's transformation. And we'll finish up with a spotlight on some of the startups that are really leading the charge. Okay, let's jump right in with the big picture. You really have to understand just how powerful and, believe it or not, still growing Vietnam's position is in the global apparel world. And the trajectory here is, well, it's critical to understand. This steady climb you see has put Vietnam as the world's second largest apparel exporter. It's actually surpassed Bangladesh and now only trails China. This is way more than just simple growth. It's a sign of a massive strategic realignment of the entire global supply chain. So, where's all this value going? Well, the United States is, without a doubt, the most critical market. It's absorbing a whopping 38% of all exports. But, and this is important, look at the strong relationships with Japan, the EU, and South Korea. This shows that Vietnam has built a really well-diversified and resilient customer base. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket. Now, this brings us to a really crucial point for any investor. You have to understand the market's dual nature. On one hand, 70% of that huge export value is driven by foreign direct investment. But on the other, 70% of the local firms are still stuck in the basic cut, make, trim model. That's simple assembly with the absolute lowest profit margins. This creates this fascinating dynamic of both intense competition and just an immense opportunity for domestic companies to step up and capture way more value. So how did they build this powerhouse? Well, this market position is built on a rock-solid foundation. In this next section, we're going to unpack a core drivers that are making this growth so sustainable. One of Vietnam's biggest, and I mean biggest, advantages is its political stability. If you look at the World Bank data, it consistently ranks among the most stable countries in the region. Now, for global brands and investors, what does that mean? It means a reliable, de-risked supply chain, and that is a critical differentiator from its regional competitors. And that stability is reinforced by some really favorable trade conditions. Through a powerful network of free trade agreements, we're talking about things like the CPTPP and the EVFTA, Vietnam keeps a highly competitive tariff rate into that all-important U.S. market. This really cements its position as a super cost-efficient place to source from. Okay, so on top of that, you've got three major trends just pouring fuel on the fire here. First, there's the China Plus One strategy, where companies are actively looking to diversify their manufacturing away from just China. Second, Vietnam has incredibly high manufacturing diversity. It can produce really complex garments, rivaling what China can do. And third, you can't forget about the booming domestic middle class, which is creating a vibrant consumer market right there at home. All right, so that's where we are now. Looking forward, let's map out the industry's transformation, because this is where the most compelling investment opportunities are really starting to pop up. The entire industry is on this strategic journey, basically climbing a ladder up the value chain. The whole goal is to move away from that low-margin contract work, the CMT and OEM, original equipment manufacturing, and into higher-value models. This means getting into ODM, or original design manufacturing, and the holy grail, OBM, original brand manufacturing. That is the path to maximum profit and real market independence. At the exact same time, sustainability is no longer a nice-to-have. It's basically a license to operate. New regulations from the EU and the US are forcing supply chains to go green. But you know what? Innovators are already leading the way. You have companies like Cytex with its near-zero emission denim factory, and Fastlink, creating fabrics from coffee grounds and lotus stems. They're proving that this green transformation is not only possible, it's profitable. And this isn't just a grassroots movement. This shift is backed by serious government policy. Vietnam's 2030 development strategy explicitly calls for investment in advanced green technologies. This kind of top-down support is absolutely crucial for modernizing the industry's foundation and attracting high-quality capital. The third pillar of this transformation is digital, and the results, well, They're already tangible and pretty dramatic. Through things like AI and automation, major players are seeing huge gains. Vietnex cut its production time by 30%. Garment 10 doubled its productivity. And get this, Viet Thong Jeans slashed its product development cycle from 6 months down to just 15 days. That is efficiency at a massive scale. So who's actually putting all these pieces together? In our final section, let's spotlight the startups that are right at the vanguard of this entire transformation. First up, we've got Coolmade. Founded back in 2019, it really pioneered the direct-to-consumer or D2C model in Vietnam. By operating completely online, Coolmade gets to control the end-to-end customer experience, which has allowed it to build a really powerful homegrown brand right from the ground up. And Coolmade is definitely not standing still. Right now, it's executing a really smart three-pronged expansion. It's moving into the women's activewear market, it's going global with a successful launch on Amazon in the US, and it's even moving offline to build a physical retail presence. This is a textbook example of a brand moving toward that original brand manufacturer model we talked about. Okay, our second spotlight is on Inflow. This is a B2B platform that was founded in 2022, and it tackles the industry's fragmentation problem head-on. It's basically creating a digital bridge that connects global fashion brands with this whole network of vetted Vietnamese manufacturers. But here's where Inflow's competitive edge really lies: its technology. The platform uses AI to forecast fashion trends up to a year in advance, and it enables on-demand manufacturing. That means brands can go from a design to having product on the market in just 30 days, with really low minimum orders. It delivers the exact agility and data intelligence that the industry's digital transformation promises. So, to wrap it all up, what we're seeing is a stable, globally dominant industry that's going through a rapid transformation driven by sustainability, digitalization, and that strategic climb up the value chain. As this whole evolution accelerates, the question for investors and industry leaders is pretty clear. Are companies like Coolmade and Inflow the blueprint for Vietnam's next generation of global fashion giants?